let's talk anime. Hello and welcome to Brandon's Discuss Anime, a Reckless Amoeba podcast. A very literal rendition of it this time because it's me, Brandon Horvath, and with me is my co-host, Brandon Falinger.
You're forgetting. We also have our third guest, K-Cola, our sponsor.
Every day's your birthday with a can of K-Cola.
Yeah.
Yeah, no Ryan this time.
That'd be a hilarious commercial, actually. Like, you just bounce between people drinking it, and it's the same person just getting older and older because it's just constantly their birthday. It's just extreme aging.
Oh, that would be a dark commercial, dude.
It'd be hilarious. And it would be the best way to introduce the unbirthday cake flavor, which will reverse these effects.
Oh my god, like, with all these references, I'm going to have to go back through so much footage if I would want to have a K-Cola compilation. Is it in this video? No. Is it in this video? No. Sitting through, like, days worth of video.
Just hashtag not spawn K-Cola.
Since we are covering season 3 of Mob Psycho 100, and since Ryan didn't really watch seasons 1 and 2, we thought it would be better for just us to do a solo review of it.
Not really much else we can do.
Yeah. Two bits of disappointing news. One that hits a little bit closer to us than the first one, but did you hear Mark Hamill is retiring as the Joker?
That's both disappointing and understandable. It's sad to see Mark Hamill go because he's still the best Joker I have ever seen. I don't think anybody comes anywhere near his rendition. It's also understandable because his counterpart has now passed. And they probably had a really good back and forth that they had.
Yeah, and I heard that one of his big questions for a project is, will Kevin be there?
Yep. So retiring the villain and the hero, essentially. I understand it. Still sucks, man.
Yeah, but he may do the voice for fans or like at conventions.
Oh, probably. He probably will do it like unofficially, but he's not going to take on any projects for it, is the way it sounds.
Yeah. Like, I would need to listen to all the different renditions there was that try to do the Mark Hamill Joker and just say, like, what one is the best. Because, like, I know I keep saying this, but I do like the Batman's Joker. The one where he's, like, I think you said more straitjacket-y with, like, the dangling sleeves.
I feel like he's crazier, yeah. Straight jacket, the long grown-out hair.
Yeah, but I also like that Joker voice.
It's not bad. It's definitely a different Joker. And I do not think he compares to Hamill. But I mean, that said, right, I think the Batman was the one that came off, like, right off the animated series. I think it was the follow-up one, wasn't it? It's kind of hard to follow that up. And he did his damnedest. I'll give him that.
And I know that...
And I do like the design. I do like the, like, completely unhinged Joker that is. Whereas Mark Hamill's is a bit more composed.
And I don't know if it's the same person because it's been a while since I listened to this clip too, but under the Red Hood Joker. But the only part I remember about that, and maybe because this was one of the only clips of it I saw, is the Joker is being interrogated by Red Hood, has a scratchy throat, asks for water, shatters the glass, and kills everybody with it.
Yep.
And he goes like, seems like these guys are rather dead. Could I have some more? No, Red Hood agrees to his demands, and he says, like, I'm gonna need some guys. Not these. They're, dead.
There, dead.
And second bit of bad news. About 7 years ago, Gari Gari Kun went up about 9 cents or 10 yen. Last year, in January, Umaibo went up about 2 cents or about 2 yen. In March, Black Thunder's going up in price.
Okay.
5 yen for the basic flavor. I'm not
5
too sure.
cents, essentially.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about all the other flavors. They say they're going up in price too, but just like with the
how much Black Thunder are you going to try and come back with? I'm very curious.
I do plan on, when I get us the fake food that I'm ordering like sometime around end of February, I will be getting some Black Thunder for a part 3 of the tasting, or episode
Actually,
3.
I'm curious what the customs are with that, because there might be some things you can't take. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but after
Look into that.
30, I think the article said 35 years, they're forced to raise the price, but that is still understandable that they're like, we've been consistent for so long, we just can't do it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And just like with Gari Gari-kun, 25 years, and Umaibo, I believe it was 40 years. So these long running popular snacks or candies are being raised in price, be it ever so slightly, because 10 yen, that's like 8 cents these days, and Umaibo going up 2 cents or 2 yen. That's, for me as an American, no need to say, we're very sorry we have to do this.
I kind of wish they did that here, because it would mean that those that are in charge actually have to meet out with the public and deal with that situation. Whereas the CEOs and shit that we have now are just like, bump up the price, who cares?
Yeah,
they don't have to sit there in front of a fucking press briefing and apologize for it or answer questions as to why they have to do this. They just do it and they don't care.
Yeah, because, like, I remember, like, 20 years ago, Snapple, like, a bottle of Snapple was, like, 99 cents. And now it's, like, $2.49, so last time I checked it was $2.49. It may be, like, about that. But it's just, like, prices are always going up here, and I know that prices may be going up in Japan on other things, but just for something to be so consistent for so long is kind of amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it for,
like, the only one I can think of, actually, bouncing off of this a little bit, that's done anything similar to that was like the dollar store or whatever, where they had to be like, look, not gonna be able to keep it at this price. It sucks. We've tried to. It's probably going to be like $1.06 or $1.05 or something like that.
Yeah,
I think it was like last year or 2020. I forget which one. Somewhere within the pandemic, they had to do that, and they're like the only ones that were like, "Look, it sucks, but we gotta."
Yeah.
No one else has ever done that.
So anything going on with you?
Besides the fact that I might have a slight cold or something, which could probably be heard in my voice right now, not much. Playing Digimon Survive, really enjoying that game so far. Paranoid I'm going to miss something, and apparently characters can die, so I'm very paranoid.
Oh.
I mean, hey, the Survive part is very accurate, and now I understand why it's there in the title.
How many cast members are there?
Hold on 1 second and I can tell you. Let's see here. Are we including Digimon or just the humans?
Just the humans.
Okay, give me 1 second here. I want to say like 7 or 8. Let's see, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11? 11.
You had to. I heard you had to boot up your game.
I did have to boot up my game because I couldn't remember exactly which ones were listed or not.
Ah.
Because there are 3 characters in here that don't have partner Digimon.
Because I do remember.
2 of which I'm not even sure are alive.
Ooh.
They might be ghosts. I don't know.
Wasn't there some Digimon recent series about ghosts?
In what?
Anime?
A recent series about ghosts?
No, a Digimon series about ghosts.
Not that I... To be fair, I haven't been paying attention too closely to, like, what new series Digimon has had since Tri. And even that, I still have to finish. I still haven't finished that. There's been weird things with potential ghosts throughout the series that I have watched, but it's never been outright stated that that's what they are. Sometimes it's just been like it's a weird glitchy kind of thing and they don't know.
Yeah, because I know this is semi-unrelated, but I remember there was this one JRPG that had like a cast of potentially 50 to 60 characters that could join your party.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a chance that any one of them could die.
Well, this one's actually kind of interesting. Actually, you know what? Sorry, go ahead. You finish the thought.
Yeah, so the amount of endings for the game would probably be like, okay, like characters 1 through 5 are a soldier, so they would be this part of the ending. But the fact that there's like 50 to 60 characters, the ways the ending could slightly change depending on who's in your party is kind of interesting.
There is definitely that part of it for sure, from what I gather. If certain characters die, things can go sideways real quick. As far as like what ending you could potentially get.
Would the final boss change depending on who's in your party?
I think that might be the case.
Oh.
Like, depending on how things go, I think your party members could become enemies.
Interesting.
On top of that, there's also a weird, interesting, like, system of morals, I wanna call it. No, it's karma system, that's what they called it, where you sometimes will get an option, like a choice of 3 options to answer a question or decide what to do, and that will then change your karma. I think it's moral, wrathful, and sentimental. I can't remember what the third one is. As the main character, your partner Digimon is Agumon, because of course it is.
Of course.
However, depending on which of the 3 karma stats are higher, his Digivolution changes.
Oh.
And when you hit those story points on that change, it locks it in as that is his form. Period.
Oh.
My Agumon Digivolved not into Greymon, but into Tyrannomon as his champion form. And now he's locked in as a Tyrannomon Digivolution.
So does Tyrannomon have, like, another branch that it could go in?
So here's the thing, from what I gather and what I can tell. One, it seems like there are 3 different forms all the way up until whatever the Ultra would be. And it looks like that they can zigzag across regardless of what came before. So I could still get Metal Greymon as an ultimate.
Huh.
From what I can tell, like Omnimon or Omegamon, whatever you want to call him, it looks like there are 2 options on his level. Or what would probably be his level. because I have 3 different possible champions, 3 different possible ultimates, 3 different possible megas, and then the Ultra has 2 different versions. The other interesting bit about this is that, like, it's not, oh man, we're like, how do I want to put this? Apparently, the Digimon thing in this continuity has been around a long ass time. Like, you're a modern day kid who goes on like a school trip to like an old out of the way area. They go to like what was an old school that used to be in the working in a local region,
Mm-hmm.
but it's been, I want to say, more or less abandoned. And the whole thing is like, oh, we're gonna check out this landmark, and it's just a landmark, and that's all they call it. They don't specify what the landmark is they're there to see, but they're all over there on this mountain with forests and stuff. And at one point, you find an old shrine that you're supposedly, the locals tell you not to visit, but you're like, oh man, I want to check it out anyway. Turns out, in like a cave that is near there is an inner shrine inside that cave that depicts Digimon and shit happening.
Oh.
Well, apparently you find out that back in the olden days, people used to do like quote unquote child sacrifices in order to get the Digimon, or as the locals call them, the Kemonogami or the Komonogami. I think it's Kemonogami. I think it's an E is the first vowel.
Mm-hmm.
As gods. They looked at them as gods and like, look, if we make the sacrifice, the gods will help us through like our shitty harvest. It'll strengthen the soil, etc., etc.
Oh, it's just Himanizawa syndrome.
Yes and no, because they also mention about people going up on the mountain there get spirited away.
Just like Himanizawa syndrome.
They're not dying yet. The actual ritual isn't killing them, unlike Hinamizawa syndrome. There are actually something that could be called aliens here.
Oh.
If you count the Digimon as real. Either way, you and some of your classmates go up there, and all of a sudden, oh man, we're in this big fog, and now we're in another world after this weird snowstorm, and everyone's been separated. So now, like, I'm at the point where what? I've got 3 of the other classmates so far. And there was another person that had showed up right before things went sideways, which was a professor that was there to go and take a look at the ruins to try and do like some archaeological research. He gets brought along, and I found him now. So currently we're searching after 2 more, and then there are 2 others that for whatever reason our characters have not even said anything about them being around, and I don't know why. I'm like, you keep talking about these other 2 that are missing. What about the like those other 2, the brother and sister that have kind of led you into this to begin with?
Okay.
One other thing I want to bring up. We kind of also got like a weird Persona style thing where you can like convince Digimon to join you as partners, like wild ones.
Oh.
So you can start getting yourself like a little army of them. And since it's tactical, you can just slot them in as different units.
So, Pokemon ask that you could have multiple Digimon partners.
Somewhat. The one key difference here is, unlike your partner Digimon, which can digivolve at will, like you have the option in battle as to when that happens, and they will go back to their normal form. Digimon that you recruit do not, and they evolve with a specific item.
Kind of like Pokemon.
Well,
Some Pokemon.
Yes, some Pokemon. If you want to like grab a water stone with an Eevee or something, right? Like that's going to be a permanent evolution. It's not going back. Also, apparently, some of these items are super limited until certain points in the story.
So let's get into the entree of the episode.
Oh, I thought the episode was done. I thought it was just talking about Digimon.
Mob Psycho 100 Season 3.
Oh yeah, that was the thing we watched, wasn't it?
Like I was half complaining to you, I wish they would have had like a recap special before this season started because I forgot about some of the characters.
Some
And
of the side ones I did forget, the ones that popped up near the end, but I'm like, who are you?
and then I'm like, oh wait, yeah, you were the guy from the one thing. And how did the giant broccoli get there? It was like Mob and the new assistant guy fighting, right?
I don't think so. I think it was when Mob absorbed the boss's power. I think he transferred it into the broccoli, and the broccoli just kind of sprouted from there.
Ah, okay.
I think that's what happened at the end, but I'm not 100% on that. And besides, it's not a broccoli; it's the divine tree, man. Okay,
Oh, I'm sorry.
we
Uh,
need to all worship Psycho Helmet Sama.
uh,
He will lead us into a new age.
and I noticed, like, even though the title doesn't say this at all, the Japanese teasers kept calling it Act 3.
I wasn't watching the teasers too much, so I didn't notice that. I kind of got to the end of the episode, hit the credits, and I'm like, all right, next one.
There was some after credit scenes on a few of them, but not all of them.
Okay, so I would have missed those probably.
Like the first 2 to 4, I'd say.
There were a couple there that were like, you got the credits, and the credits had extra shit in it.
Yeah.
Like, so those I caught, but not anything that would have happened post credits.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't, already continuing.
I still like Reagan and his bullshit he pulls.
Look, man, all right, just throw salt at shit. That's the best way to do it.
Use your ice to fix an idol.
That shit got me because I'm just like, wait, what? He uses his power to unlock the full potential of rice? How?
I know Reagan is good at like manipulation and reading people and like knowing things, but does he have any fragments of like buried ability whatsoever?
I believe we discovered that back in like season 2, maybe even 1, where like he has the barest minimum to actually see things.
Mm.
Like he started being able to see Dimple, and it's like, oh shit, he actually has like the tiniest modicum of a thing.
Because he was saying at the end of the scene that he has no power, and I'm like, dude, is that 100% accurate?
I think it's just barely enough to see things. That's about it.
Mm.
That's all he can do. And that wasn't even there at the start. That was something I think that got triggered later.
I think Mob helped with that.
I wasn't sure if it was Mob or if it was when Dimple possessed him.
Mm.
But it's literally, I think it's just enough that he's able to see like Dimple and other spirits. That's it. I think that's all he's got.
Yeah, and Mob needs to think about the future. What do you want to do for your life?
Panic. I don't know. Panic.
And everybody has plans. Like, I know one guy in the Body Improvement Club wants to be a manga artist, but he's...
Let's be real. It's just a muscle club, alright? Let's be real.
Yeah. Fight on! I forgot just how many hilarious side characters are in the season.
Mm-hmm. I will say I was expecting, like, we get this later on, but I was expecting more of the kids that they saved back in season 2 to show up.
Mm.
But we only got like the twins who did anything.
Yeah.
I'm like, I thought they'd come up and do something. Oh, sad.
And what about the yokai hunter?
The guy who's like only barely better than Reagan, I would argue.
Yes.
He has to fight like 3 days and 3 nights straight with like a spirit similar to Dimple as far as like what he looks like, but probably on a far weaker scale. I love the fact that like he offers to pay Reagan, and then Reagan like nearly talks him out of like paying him at the end of that episode.
Oh, you don't need money. I completely understand now.
You offered this as a friend. You weren't asking for money. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I've insulted you like this. Oh god, no. I mean, you can still give me a consultation fee, you know.
And I know I'm bouncing like ahead to near the end, but did you see that Mob has a Saitama background on his phone?
I literally had to back up when I saw that. I'm like, was that? Yup. Exactly what that is. Okay.
That was great for me.
Which is funny because that makes me think that at the very least, One Punch Man is a show in that universe. Because if it's not a show and it takes place in the same world, then I have to ask the question of why is Seasoning City called what it is, yet in One Punch Man everything is like like A through Z City.
Yes.
Why is Seasoning City named differently?
And I think the big question is, could Tatsumaki beat Mob?
No. Like, not from what I've seen. She's done nothing that would come to any level near what Mob can do.
Because, like, Mob is the Saitama of that world.
Yeah. I would be curious to see how... Because here's the thing, right? We have that point at the end of the series where Mob is just kind of, like, going nuts.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't think that's everything he has.
Really?
I still don't think so. Because if it was, none of those people that were, like, trying to stop him would be alive.
Fair point.
They would all be eviscerated. There'd be nothing left.
Whoa.
Teru would not have been alive. He would have died. There would be, like, a smear, and that's it.
Oh, and Mob's becoming popular.
Yes. And he has started to become JoJo-ified. How did you like that bit, by the way?
I love that.
He starts getting, like, a JoJo face and shit, and I'm just like, what is going on? And it's almost like nobody mentioned it, but I swear it's a physical change. Because there's a point where we see like a first-person perspective of Mob, and you see the chin at the bottom of the screen, and it's got the fucking double chin going on. I'm just like, what the shit?
With a huge cleft.
Yep, massive cleft chin just blocking the bottom of his view. I'm very much questioning whether this is physically changing him or not now.
Yep.
Like, as hysterical as it is, I have to ask that question.
Because, hey, the Psycho Helmet needs a leader. Mob, you should be the leader.
Dimple, why don't you give up on your shitty plans? Come on.
Yeah. And then Teru comes along and says, like, hey, I'll help you pick out fashion.
Yes, and my god, does he have a great fashion sense. Speaking of which, did you notice that at the end, he's got a sweatshirt on that has that design still?
Yes.
I looked at that thing and I'm just like, what the fuck kind of nonsense is this thing?
I mean, just from a character design perspective, he just made me think of Bakugo for like a second or two.
Who, Teru?
Yeah. Just like for a little bit, I'm just like, huh. Oh wait, no. This is a completely different series.
I never got that at all. Did not get that connection whatsoever.
Maybe it was just the ash gray or ash blonde spiky hair. I don't know.
Maybe, but it's just not close enough for me to really notice, like, put those two together. Because his is still, like, just growing in, right? Whereas Bakugo's is, like, specifically spiky like that.
Yeah. Or maybe I was thinking about Boku since I was editing it at the time.
That would be it. That sounds like it might be it.
hey, the Divine Tree has a leader.
Yes, and he's got very veiny for some reason. Throbbing, one might say, with psychic energy.
And he's so serious.
And everyone loves him.
You must pray to me. I am Psycho Helmet Koro.
I literally put together what was going on as soon as he showed up. I'm like, oh, okay. And then as soon as it's like, yeah, we're giving out all this stuff that's got like, seasoning from the tree. And I'm like, oh, okay, I know exactly what's going on. I know immediately what's happening here.
I was thinking he was a psychic, but I didn't put together immediately that it comes from the divine tree is brainwashing. I got it before it was revealed in the episode, but I'm just like, oh, this must be significant somehow. Like, they're eating the divine tree. I'm like,
yep,
that isn't good, is it?
Yep. Nope. I got it as soon as I saw the food. I'm like, okay, they're brainwashing everyone. And as soon as I saw Psycho Helmet, I'm like, oh, that's Dimple. I don't know how because he's not possessing Pooh or whatever that is, but that's Dimple for sure. Like he doesn't have the thing, so like is he possessing the tree itself and just using the roots to make this? Which turns out, yeah, that's almost exactly what it is.
Because in the first two episodes, he kept absorbing energy from the divine tree.
Yep. Because apparently, pure faith and belief is an energy in and of itself. I forget if that was established when he was making his own religion in the first season.
LOL? No, it was something LOL.
Yeah. Either way, Reagan's like, I keep getting these shitty jobs to like figure out why people's houses are falling apart. It's that goddamn broccoli. We gotta take that out, or we're only ever gonna get jobs inspecting these things and not getting paid for it.
I mean, like, why did he advertise we deal with home construction and like?
Well, because they think it's like the people were probably thinking it's a supernatural thing, so they're like, "Tell us what's the problem."
Okay, I can see that now.
And he's like, "I looked. There's fucking roots growing up into your house. I can't do anything, so therefore I don't get paid."
You can give me a $10 consultation for looking.
Oh my god! You know what the best part was? Like in the early couple episodes, there was like a flyer Reagan had like I think put down in front of a customer for him, and I sat there and the subtitles for it were written out as to what it was saying, and I'm like, oh my fucking god, this motherfucker! He's literally offering like a special right now on like I want to say it was like a little more than half off of like different packages. And it's like first package, it's a mere $20 or like 2,000 yen. Normally like almost 50. Like the next one was like 50 yen, almost. No. Yeah, the next one was 50 yen, and then the normal price was like almost 99 or something like that. Mm-hmm. And then the last one was like for a mere $200. Normally a $500 cost.
And I noticed one of the flyers like pasted to the wall in the back was like buy 3 get 1 free something.
Yep. What was it, like buy one get 3 exorcisms, get 1 free or something like that.
I wonder if they could be spread out.
Here's what I'm more curious about. How does Reagan consider that? Do they have to be like 3 separate jobs? Or is it if there's more than 3 ghosts, the 4th ghost is free?
Okay.
At the same time.
Yeah. My house is being possessed by 3 ghosts. Could I save the 4th one for later?
What about the guy that was just like fucking depressed as shit?
Oh.
And like living in his house, not doing anything, and how he like is apparently losing his hair and all that. And I'm just like, you've been bald since the start. We've seen the pictures.
Yes.
And how apparently his own like gloom and doom bullshit is like manifesting into like a spirit of its own.
Oh my god.
And like both Mob and Serizawa are just sitting there like, oh my god, he's right. I haven't made a mistake yet, but the minute I do, I'm gonna be just like him.
Oh yeah, that was back in the first one with the job
Yeah, it was like
arc.
the first or second episode. I forget which one. Oh my fucking god, it's great. It's great. Anyway, uh, getting on to when Mob's just like, no man, people are just people. You're still forcing them to do things, even if it's just worship the tree instead, right? And we suddenly get Golden God Dimple,
Super Saiyan Dimple?
Golden Frieza style Dimple.
That actually changed my mind. I'm just like, did he reference Dragon Ball Super here?
I feel like it's a Golden Frieza reference. I really do, but I don't know when this was written. Like this part of the story.
Mob ended as a manga in 2017. So, this
When was
part,
Resurrection F? That's when Golden Frieza first appeared as a thing. Was that 2016?
uh, Resurrection F came out 2015.
Okay, so it could very well be a reference straight up to Frieza.
Would not surprise me because Dragon Ball is so influential on other anime.
Oh yeah. But it ends up going down. We get a nice fight between Mob, who eventually I should also point out Teru tried to stop Dimple before. Didn't go too well. I honestly thought Teru, like, there's a point where Teru gets thrown out of the broccoli, and I'm just like, Teru gonna come back, like, and be clear headed now? And they're gonna double team Dimple? Like, that's what I was wondering. Like, getting him out of the vicinity of the broccoli, would that be enough to clear his mind? Because he mentions himself, like, strong enough feelings break the mind control.
Yes.
So I'm like, okay, if he's out of range of this broccoli, is he gonna be able to break the mind control and come back to try and help? Because I can only assume that he succumbed because he was forced to stay within the broccoli, like tied up and shit. But no, that doesn't happen. Sad. Instead, he gets tossed away by Mob and probably gets conked out or something at that point because he doesn't show up again. But yeah, the fight between Mob and Dimple goes very swimmingly. Dimple tries to like drain Mob's powers.
That was a good fight with them zipping around and stuff.
Yep. But Mob realizes that powers are just going to get in the way if he needs to like talk to Dimple, because Dimple just keeps pushing him away. And we realize that Dimple has kind of been having an existential crisis of like, I'm an evil spirit. I shouldn't be good like this. What was my original goal? Turns out Dimple just wanted a friend. Someone who recognized him as a person.
Or as a being?
Mm-hmm. So he's like, look, I'm gonna just give it all up, alright? Too bad Mom's too weak right now. And collapses, because he used too much power.
I could brainwash him right now if I want.
And in fact, he does, and tells him to leave. Because apparently, the broccoli has developed its own sentience. And now that Dimple's not controlling it anymore, it's its own threat.
Oh, yes. And I did like the part where Mob is like drifting in and out of consciousness and sees Dimple in his basic form and is like,
I'm not sure if that's part of the hypnosis or not, though. I'm curious if that's the case. I think it is.
And as he's leaving, Mob just keeps looking back, seeing Dimple smiling,
waving his hand.
Yes, but in actuality, Golden Dimple is being shredded apart by the Divine Broccoli Tree.
Yeah, he had been shredded during the fight with him and all of like the Psycho Helmet clones.
Oh, just the fact the tree kept making clones, I was like, oh, that was so good.
What I'm way more curious about is like what happened to it afterward.
Like,
Because apparently Dimple manages to like not only brain wipe everyone around, but rip the tree out or the broccoli out and send it into space.
because their initial thought would be to toss it into the ocean, but I guess since it's developed sentience, the only place it would be safe would be space now.
Well, the best place to cut off where it's going to keep absorbing energy from, yeah. Because those that are like brainwashed are going to be like, yeah, the tree, it's just in the water now. I love it. And it's just going to keep getting power.
Yeah.
You send it into space, there's no one there to give it power anymore.
Oh my god, like that would be a good idea for a horror movie. Like some organic thing flying in space. So like, we don't know what this thing is. We're gonna explore it and have some kind of like whatever attack them.
What about the credit? The best part would have been like the end credits of the teaser are that the broccoli has landed on the moon and it's growing there now, ready to attack Earth later.
Oh no!
Or the broccoli shows up in One Punch Man. That's a new threat.
No, broccoli. I don't like broccoli. I'm gonna punch it.
I want to steam that broccoli. It'll be good in my ramen.
And we find out that Mob's girlfriend or crush is moving away.
Yup, time to panic. Wait, we kind of skipped over the bits between there.
Oh, I thought they mentioned it in episode 7.
I think it's 9.
It's 9. Oh, okay.
It's either 9 or 10. I forget which one. It's
9. 7 and 8 were the UFO arc.
The best arc, thank you.
Yeah, like that. These 2 episodes were really, really good.
I'm just sitting there like, oh no, poor Tome is so sad that like nobody believes her shit, and now she's closing down the club. And now the guys are like, shit, we didn't realize she was actually that into it. Fuck, I guess we gotta do this.
And I forgot about the twins.
I remembered the twins. I also remembered all the other ones they saved that were with the twins. Those guys don't show up until the last episode. And they don't do shit, really.
And I should have remembered him and his very unique character style of being a square head.
We got Minecraft Steve and then Minecraft Rounded Steve. But yeah, they go off. They help Mob search for an actual telepath because it's one of the few powers Mob doesn't seem to have. And they end up finding one who was an ex-member of the Telepath Club, who I guess essentially was like looking for someone that was similar and could not find anyone and gave up on it.
Was he in prior episodes?
Maybe in the background. I don't remember him being part of the club before Nob showed up, though. Or like when Mob showed up to it at all. Anyway, they convince him to help, and then they go up to the mountains, and Reagan is desperately upset that he's now going to have to pay late fees on that rental car, which apparently he does not have any or at least very little driving experience. So he's like super focused on driving, and eventually Mob, motion sickness kicks in and he pukes in a fucking bag.
I need to make a U-turn. How do I do that?
Anyway, they end up going up on the mountain, leaving the car behind. We have a nice emotional moment with Tome, and eventually they do get to summon a UFO. It does show up. Aliens exist.
I kind of like the part where
before we get to that, I need to ask you a question.
Yes.
Did those aliens remind you of anything?
You make it sound like I should know the reference, but I do not.
I think it's the eyes, but it immediately made me like jump to, fuck me, is this Pop Team Epic bullshit going on?
no, that
The eyes, like, I think, were the one thing that made me immediately jump to that because it looked similar to me.
and
I was
Kaneko was
waiting for them to hold up a super detailed middle finger to people.
Taneko was saying, "Oh yeah, the whole summoning ritual, that's a bunch
Yeah,
of
it's
bullshit."
bullshit. Yep, it's fake.
I didn't want to say it because we're so far into this.
He also didn't know how to bring it up at the start.
Yeah,
And then at that point, it's like, we've gotten so far into this now, I didn't know how to say it.
but yeah, aliens are real, and they're just like a bunch of teenagers.
Yep, it looks just like the clubhouse for the Telepath Club, where they're just eating snacks and playing games. Eventually, after, an entire night of fun, because I think it's like 3 a.m. or something when they look at their clock, they're like,
Yeah.
oh shit, we gotta get back. So they're like, start exchanging some gifts. Reagan gives him a pair of like his shirt pajamas, even though the entire time he's like not getting involved too much and just being like, man, all this shit's happening, but I'm more worried about the late fees for returning that rental car. They traded them like a portable video game console, a notebook. Tomei gave her scarf, and they got like this weird gem thing.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, everyone but one gets put back on the planet.
Mameta.
And I'm pretty sure that I'm sitting here just thinking, and I tell me if you thought the same thing. I'm like, oh, alien harem. Okay.
I was thinking, will this turn slightly dark at the last second? But no.
No, it is most definitely alien harem.
Yes.
He wakes up at one point half naked with like lipstick marks all over his body.
Yes.
I'm like, well, I guess he's single-handedly keeping the species from going extinct. Eventually he realizes like how to connect his mind to theirs and tell them, I want to go home. However, he doesn't remember much, if anything, of it at that point.
Oh, that would have been an interesting story.
I was honestly expecting for him to get back, and somehow like years had passed.
Yes.
Like, we have like a mini time skip at the end of this that's like a year, and I would have loved if that's when he showed up, is when that happened. It's like, where have you been, man? I don't even remember.
Yeah, so Tsubomi is going to move.
Yep, she's moving, and everyone's like, well, shit, I gotta confess my feelings for her. And it literally turns into a giant fucking line outside the school of people just getting rejected.
Yeah, because she is the most popular idol at the school.
I mean, look at any of the other girls in that school, and is it really that shocking?
No.
Like, the two she pals around with are, like, specifically uglier to make her look better.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So, yeah, Mob is, like, trying to figure out how to do this, getting advice, yada, yada, yada. Eventually, it leads up to a point of, like, I'm gonna get me a big old bouquet. We're gonna meet at the park we used to play at as kids, And it ends with Mob getting hit by a car.
That was shocking.
I was like, oh, this is going too smoothly. This is going to go awful in some way, shape, or form. Was not expecting it to be a literal car.
Because, didn't somebody from a prior adventure who Mob befriended was like, hey, trade up, and gave him a larger bouquet because Mob got, like, a cheap one?
Yep. But yeah, he gets hit by a car, which again, was not expecting that, especially because his first instinct was to save a cat from getting hit by a car.
Uh-huh.
And then immediately after, not doing the same thing with the kid that's about to get hit by a car. I'm like, what the fuck had just happened?
Yeah.
Why didn't you just do the exact same thing you did prior? Or, pull the kid back with the power? That's my only gripe, is that that's the one thing that doesn't make sense to me. The only thing that I can think of that potentially could explain that type of action is that the secondary personality that he has, right? The one that we find out at the very end of this series took control in that moment of panic and forced him to run out to save the kid. Like, that's the only thing I can think of that would make any sense as to potentially explain that action.
My reasoning was, and I don't know how right this is, maybe he can't lift up people because they're heavier, and like...
He's lifted up heavier shit before.
Then I'm wrong.
Even then, you didn't have to lift him, you just had to pull him back. Plus, he stopped a car. You could just stop the car like he did with the cat.
Yeah, fair.
And the other problem I had with it was mostly because it's like, it's gonna take you longer to run and shove that kid than it is to just reach your hand out and pull him back with your powers. Or stop the car.
Well, plot needed to happen.
Plot did need to happen. It's just not very well explained plot. That's literally my only gripe, is that specific moment. It does not make sense.
And I'm not too sure how accurate of a name this is, but Mob in Rampage mode is called %.
Because we don't know what the limit is.
It could be far above 100.
Oh, yeah. That's why I said I mean, I'm not even counting that, but I still don't think we've seen his maximum. Therefore, we don't have a percentage.
Was Mob in Jump?
Not sure.
No, it was serialized in Aura Sunday.
Okay.
Because I would love to see Mob in one of those Jump crossover games, but then again, I'm not too sure Aura Sunday if that's... No, it does not appear to be at all related, parent company-wise, to Jump, so... No.
Look, man, I'm just saying, if Nintendo's gonna pull off some crazy Smash Brothers shit, it wouldn't shock me if somebody manages to do that with the anime stuff. The only problem is, how do you make the art styles work with each other?
Yeah.
Trying to figure that part out is probably the most difficult.
Well, the Jump games exist, and they have different art styles.
Yeah, but they don't look good half the time. That's the problem. Like, Jump Force looks awful.
Oh. Like, trying to meld everything into one art style, like some of the characters look off.
Yeah. Yep. Like, seeing Luffy, for example, with more realistic looking skin is really weird.
I will have to look at that.
It's either that, or they end up looking more like plastic toys. Like, that tends to be one of the two. Either they look wrong, or they all look like plastic toys. But yeah, anyway, after the accident, Mob's power starts going on a rampage, aka the other personality that Mob has kind of been suppressing for the entirety of his life since Tsubomi told him that she wasn't impressed by powers.
Yeah.
And everyone's trying to stop him. Teru's trying to stop him. Doesn't go well, although that said, he does manage to protect all the people that Mob probably would have killed right there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh shit, he has actually managed to do that. That said, he's reduced back to his I have no clothes, and like all of the hair on the top of my head is gone.
The Body Improvement Club comes along and tries to stop him.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, that's not going to go well. And it doesn't.
Nope.
And in fact, if it wasn't for Ritsu finally showing up, very likely the one would have died because his head would have been crushed against a steel girder.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, Ritsu tries to get through to him. Doesn't quite work, and Ritsu's literally thrown over. Although, it is kind of shown that if something were to have happened to that bouquet, the shock might have done something, but who knows.
But Ritsu does hit 100% himself.
Yes, which is the fun part, the twist of like, the 100% isn't Mob anymore. The percentage is for Ritsu.
I didn't know the Ritsu thing was coming, but I'm just like,
Nope.
wait, there's a counter. Mob? What's gonna happen once Psycho Mob hits 100%?
Yeah, that's what I was very curious about. Like, what happens then? Does the world just pop like a balloon?
But no, that's for Ritsu.
Nope. Who apparently actually manages to do a little bit of damage, or at least get Psycho Mob's attention.
Mm-hmm.
Before he's like thrown to the side and like knocked out.
And then we find out that Psycho Mob is the true Shigeo Kageyama.
Supposedly, they're two halves of the same person. It's just that one half decided to sever that connection. And this mob, this one is very upset at having been sealed away for so long and ignored. And it takes finally Reigen showing up with Dimple's help, who finally decided to show back up for some reason. Not sure how.
Oh, but wait, what about the guys at the convenience store?
Oh yeah, the two guys that were once part of Claw. Didn't work out too well.
And Boss?
And the boss comes in, was gonna sacrifice, and he's like, my son called me dad. I can't sacrifice myself now. Yeah, didn't work out. Although it does seem like a lot of the reformed people have been exactly what we've said, what I just said, reformed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Reigen comes in with the announcement of, I've never had psychic powers, which I thought Mob, while he may not have known, had the suspicion of from like last season. Because he did gift Reigen with his powers to like beat the shit out of everyone at one point.
I'm going to agree with you on that, but he was maybe going, okay, Reigen's probably hiding them, blah blah blah, but there's a chance he may be faking it all. But now that Reigen has admitted it to Mob's face, I don't think like Mob has any more doubts.
Mm-hmm.
And I think just the sheer shock of Reigen admitting it is what snaps him out of it.
It could very well be that. The fact that Reigen's actually being honest. Like, full-on, blatantly honest, exposing himself.
Because
in public, no less.
He was getting power from Dimple to hold Mob back, but he's like, okay, yep. Dimple, leave.
Yeah, look, I need to talk to him on my own. And Dimple's like, I'm barely holding myself together here, alright? Do you really want to send me out in this? But yeah, whatever it is, snaps him out. Mob goes up. Tsubomi rejects him. Shocker. And yeah, we have a nice little heartfelt talk as they walk into the sunset about how we're going to fix the fucking city.
Although there is a slight chance for the future, because we find out that...
Well, Tsubomi's wording is quite literally, she doesn't see me that way yet.
Because they still talk on the phone multiple times a week.
Was that the wording? Because the wording I had was like a few times a month.
It could have been month.
But yeah, we skip forward a year. Tomei has started working for Reigen as a secretary, which is fucking hysterical, but it kind of makes sense for what she's interested in. Serizawa has essentially taken over the company, and Reigen's more or less the lackey now, it seems like. Like, he seems to be the one doing the inspections and stuff, and he'll call in Serizawa to, like, whatever's necessary.
I wonder how he explains that away.
I don't know. That's the way it seems to be implied to me, is that that Reigen's the one doing the legwork to check in on things before bringing in the heavy guns now. Like we mentioned, he can see spirits. He just can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
So being a scout, probably not the worst position for him. We see a bunch of the kids come back from the Claw facility from season 2 to celebrate Reigen's birthday as a surprise party. Oh yeah, we also see Mob with the Body Improvement Club, where he's the vice captain now.
Good for Mob.
Good for Mob. Training up the new kids.
Fight on, fight on, fight on.
Exactly.
And there's actually some girls in the club this year.
Yeah, I think so. What else was there? Oh yeah, there's a point where like Mob is talking to Ritsu and he's like, "Yeah, the Body Improvement Club. Yeah, they were saying like you got some good muscles. You should join us." And he's like, "Nah, man, I'm the vice president of the student council. I don't have the time for that, man." Oh,
But oh my god, like this was Mob in second year in the
yes.
okay, so
Oh, I don't know if it was from the beginning, but he was in second year. I don't think there was any breaks prior, so I want to say all of it was second year of middle school.
uh because I thought he was uh that must be a typo then because um on Wikipedia he's described as an 8th grade Esper or second year in junior high, but on the
That'd be right.
but
Second
on
year in junior high.
the episode description on Wikipedia of the final episode, it says months later during his second year of middle school.
That can't be right.
Yes, because if he is already in 8th grade, he should be in ninth now, which would be third year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go change that. And changed. Okay.
Yeah, no, very good series. One slight complaint that I mentioned earlier, but that's it. Everything else pretty fucking good.
Yeah, it's like my only complaint is I wish they would have added just a little bit of a reminder for all the people. But then again, I could have watched the first two because it was like 3.5 years
We had
between.
plenty of time to rewatch. It's true.
Yeah, and I assume that's what the intention was for them.
The intention or the assumption. They probably were running the reruns before the show started premiering, I would say.
From the way Reagan was talking at the end of the the outros, Tokyo MX, is that a. No, he made it sound like it was potentially on a streaming service.
It might have been, which means you would have had any time to watch it when you wanted.
I don't have the episode pulled up at a moment, but it was something like if this show's streaming, you can watch it anytime, and then just ends with that line. Or I forget if he said things like that in the prior two seasons.
Don't know. I don't remember it.
But yeah, there was a live action Mob? What?
I think we discussed that when we reviewed it before, that if it wasn't out already, it was coming out.
I wonder how Freaky Dimple looks in CGI.
Honestly, I think it would be better if they just left him 2D in there. Like the one thing that's animated like that. You know, until he goes like Super Dimple or whatever.
Yeah. Oh my god, that just looks so. He kind of looks Slimer-esque, but with the cheek marks.
Oh, no, that's terrible. That's awful. Why would you make him that way?
I'm sorry, but I'm just going to toss it in there.
Oh god, that's worse than Slimer. Holy shit, that's bad. No. I would have left him animated. It feels like they're superimposing an actual like person's face on there. I would not have done it that way. That's horrible to look at. That's some nightmare fuel.
I'm sorry for the cursed image.
That's some nightmare fuel right there. You'd have been better off just animating him normally and just putting him in.
Yeah. I guess that wraps up this episode.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Highly recommend Mob Psycho. It's all about how you should accept yourself and move forward with life.
Yeah. And all we can hope is that One Punch Man Season 3, which is coming in, I believe, April?
Hopefully it's better than the
Season 2.
season 2.
I think they got the animation studio from Season 1 again.
I am hoping so.
Yes.
From what I recall, it was a scheduling conflict that they couldn't do season 2.
I mean, it was okay, but not as good.
It just was not as good. Like, whoever was doing those, like, really good animation frames whenever Saitama actually got serious, yeah, we did not have that in season 2. It hurt it very badly.
So this wraps up this production season of Bands Discuss Anime. I know these past 3 episodes have been put out very sporadically. I'll try to get more on it when we record future seasons and episodes of this. Oh, okay, I was expecting you to tear me down with something.
No, I don't have anything to add.
Okay, so come back with us for the season premiere where we'll be, going to jail?
I guess we are.
Yes. So until then, we'll...
Hey, before we go,
yes.
All right, just so you can get this set up right. I'm gonna give you a can. I'm gonna have a can. We're gonna tie string between the two. All right, and then we can talk to each other between cells.
Yes, I think that would be the best way to communicate. Make sure they're K-Cola cans.
Are you kidding? They're not gonna give us bottles. We'd shatter them and slice people's throats in there. Gotta be on your guard. Can't trust anyone in prison.
We'll catch everybody later.
See ya.